What you're about to see is a group of small business owners helping Mike to address the primary issue of getting in front of the right people.
Welcome to today's peer group session, everyone. Today we're going to be looking at a challenge that Mike faces in his particular business. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand this over to Mike, and he's going to give you a little bit of background into PMG, his business, and he'll get then on to the issue that is very much front of mind right now for him. And we'll then get into trying to address some of the challenges with some open questioning to get to a point then where we can help Mike right at the very end with what we might do about it to help him. So, Mike, over to you. Give us a heads up on your business and the particular challenge that you want some help from the group.
Okay. Well, today I just wanted to open up the conversation in terms of the big issue we have within PMG is getting in front of the right people and consistently getting in front of the right people. So that really is something that I want to throw out there for you guys to help me with.
Mike, what are the right people?
Right people are the right companies. It's typically a company that has a reasonable spend in terms of marketing literature, direct mail. We also get involved in the operational print elements, but an ideal would be a multi-site company, may have depots across the region, and they are finding difficulties controlling whether it's their stock at the ground level or whether it is at the other end of the spectrum, the consistency of brand.
Right. Okay, thank you.
Phil.
Mike, how are you marketing to these companies currently?
Well, again, that's something that we're wanting to look at, because are we marketing ourselves in the right way? Are we making the right noises that to differentiate ourselves from the plethora of print manufacturing companies that are out there? Because as a management company, we're independent of production, so that's where we believe our strength is. So that is a question that we are sort of currently kicking around.
You told me the right companies. Who were the right people within those companies? Is it the MD or is it who would it be? Who would be the right person?
Yeah, good question. It can depend. Depends what type of business it is to who we may want to target. Because at one end, we may want to look at a procurement department where we feel there may be a big operational spend. So you would then probably target the procurement people or purchasing department, the buyers. Yeah. Then flip that round. If we're looking at marketing campaigns, direct mail, that takes us into the world of marketing with a whole different agenda, whole different set of values and rules.
Okay.
Just to give them the question earlier, we said, what are you currently doing? What is your current approach to get in front of these people?
Well, I think our current approach is based around, I guess, the rebrand that we did a couple of years ago, where we tried to position ourselves as a fun company. The website that we have in place is very much there's a theme to it. If you look at it, we're a fun place. We don't take ourselves too seriously. But maybe that message now needs to be reviewed, and maybe that message needs to be articulated in a different way.
Can I
Follow-up question, Julia, please do.
It's interesting you say that, because you say the buying patterns have gone out of the window with the current economic climate, but you're still pushing a fun element. So that is interesting. Just having a website is interesting, but what do you proactively do to communicate?
In terms of proactive, I guess we're a little bit traditional still, in that we have an external sales function. One element of the business, there is a telesales function. And then in terms of marketing, we have tried to broaden our exposure by coming to certain network organisations, trying to just expand our connections that we have and just sort of spread the word in a more subliminal way, not rather than just a direct sell all the time.
So, Mike, what's your role in the business? How would you describe it?
Well, I suppose the most honest answer is that the sales function is too centric to me currently, and I think that's a realisation I've only just come to, and appreciate now that this is holding me back, or should I say more honestly, holding the business back. But I think also having been running the business now for 9 years, being really honest with you in the climate and everything else, I've sort of hit the buffers in a way where it's from a motivational point of view, or a can I do this? You know, you take so many knocks, you're trying to keep everybody going, you're trying to keep the direction, you're trying to keep everybody happy, supply side, customer side, staff side, and you know, it does take its effect, but you know, it's been a difficult space to be in, and you know, where we're at now is a case that we know we need to change. I know I need to change, and I think that's the biggest thing that I suppose it's, if I dare say, it's like an alcoholic. Until I've actually said I need to change, will things change?
Right, guys, this is the interesting bit for us and the slightly scary bit for Mike, because he doesn't get to say anything during this piece, but we do. So what we'd like you to do is just give Mike the benefit of our thoughts and observations. So really I'm going to ask you to go around, and if I were you, Mike, I would. So Julia, can I start with you?
Sure. Basically, Mike, from what you've said so far, it feels a bit like you're fighting the flow rather than going with it. So if I was you, I would look first to my current customers and maximise my business with them. Make sure that with your sales team you are understanding what their needs are, but also which countries and markets they need you in. Yep. The more you go with them and support them, the stronger the business will be going forwards.
Yeah.
That's a great point, Julia. Thank you. Phil?
For me, Mike, I think what's key is you need to get a good, solid, structured plan in place. Because at the moment you've mentioned that you don't have a plan, you don't know how many of these new customers you want on board. If you haven't got that as a starting point, where are you going with it, basically? So,
it's a good point, Philip. Thank you. Mike, if I might throw something in, I think one of the key things you picked up on was you've inherited some baggage, we're about fun or we're about this, and maybe that's not relevant, and we had this thing before it. I think there's a real need for some clarity of message. And from my perspective, that's about pin your colours to something, but you've got to find what that is. And to talk about customers telling you what that is, I think I'll be listening to them first.
Thank you.
Philip?
Okay, Mike, if I were you, you talked earlier about the different roles in the businesses, and you might sell differently to different ones.
Yep.
What I do is walk a mile in their shoes before you pick up the phone. So you've got the story for whoever picks up the phone. You can tell them something that they want to hear in their role.
So be more specific.
Yeah, and have basically like a use case for whoever you're talking to.
Yeah.
Because you know that way they'll like it and then they'll pass you on to the next person.
So be relevant.
So making everybody in the business the right person.
That's great, Philip. Thank you. Sharon, anything further from you?
Yeah, make the most of those happy clients that you've got. If they're offering to do things for you, then that's absolutely fantastic. If they're coming in to talk to your internal people, that will be brilliant. Case studies on the new website, recommendations. If you can get them to do a video, even better. People like that sort of thing. And maybe Darren was talking about the brand, maybe mature the brand from the kind of fun idea to something about working with people. So, working with those organisations and being part of their organisation, something like that.
Yeah.
Philip, this is scraping the barrel for you, my friend, at the end of a long line.
It's all right, I've still got another good one.
Good man, let it go.
Mike, for me again, I think it would be good for you to take a step back from your sales capacity within the business.
Yep.
Focus again more on the business, but I think importantly on developing some strategic alliances. And I think if you can get those, you won't be going out there as much seeking the business, you'll be being fed with business.